What's up and welcome to another episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Vive Pro. I'm going to be taking you through my unboxing and setup experience as well as my first impressions as well as how it stacks up with the original Vive, the Oculus Rift, and the PIMAX 8K. It's going to be freaking epic. Let's get started. I have been able to play about 5 games with this bad boy. I have had about 3 hours of use with it so far. This will be my initial impressions of the Vive Pro. We went ahead and unboxed it and set it up. The unboxing went okay. The design of the boxes themselves weren't the best. The way you cut it open and then open it up, it naturally lets the headset just flop out after you've cut it open. So I wasn't a big fan of that. Overall, the unboxing really wasn't that special. The boxes weren't designed especially great. When I bought this, you couldn't get the controllers and trackers separately. You had to buy them with the original Vive or buy them individually, which made them extraordinarily more expensive than just buying the regular Vive. I think it was $60 more. Currently, if you want to get a Vive Pro and you need the trackers and controllers like I did, they do offer a $299 in addition to the $799, so a total package price comes in right at $1,100. We had lots of problems getting the trackers and the controllers to work with the Vive Pro. The reason for this is because the Vive Pro has a different linking control box than the original Vive. The original controllers that came with the HTC Vive were not programmed to connect to the Vive Pro box as far as I can tell. In order to fix this, I had to connect them manually with a cable to the PC and then update the firmware. But even then I had to do this weird plugging into the PC, unplugging it, repairing it, it was incredibly frustrating and weird and took about an hour and a half to figure out. So what are my initial impressions and thoughts? It was very tricky getting this set up for my eyesight and eye width. The other thing is getting it to stay in that perfect sweet spot wasn't easy. It took some time. I ended up smudging the lenses with my oil on my forehead, and that made the lenses blur out quite a bit. Got some lens cleaner, cleaned them off. It definitely became quite a bit clearer. The issue still remains though, that this is not the answer to the screen door effect. It's still very much there. Like there's definitely a screen door. This has 78% more pixels than the original Vive, which is great, which is fantastic. It's definitely more detail when you're using games and applications. The screen door effect is still very strong with the Vive Pro. It is reduced, but I'd say it's only reduced by about 50% compared to the original Vive and Oculus. And I just want to mention the PIMAX, because I did get to try out the PIMAX 8K and the 5K at CES 2018. Now the PIMAX has about 60% more pixels than the Vive Pro. And that additional pixel range really helps reduce the screen door effect. The PIMAX 5K has 2560 by 1440p display panels in there, which is, like I said, about 60% more resolution, and it's increased field of view as well. Well, the 8K runs on that same resolution, but it has 2 4K displays in there instead, and they're upscaling that 1440p content onto those 4K displays. The screen door effect is largely being caused by the actual ability to see the pixels so close to the screen. What you need to know is that the PIMAX felt like there was almost no screen door, like 95% of the screen door effect was basically eliminated. The PIMAX is still a huge major upgrade from the Vive Pro. But that said, the PIMAX still has a lot of issues with software and other things they need to work out before they can release it. I did pre-order a PIMAX 8K from their Kickstarter back about a year ago. I'm crossing my fingers that the PIMAX will be amazing and that it'll be released with very minimal issues. Now, I wanted to use this with the Razer Blade Pro laptop, but I was not able to because it requires a DisplayPort, which is a big deal because not very many laptops these days have DisplayPorts. Most manufacturers are only including HDMIs. So the only way to use the Vive Pro currently is to have a desktop with a DisplayPort out. You might be able to use an adapter from HDMI to DisplayPort, but I doubt it. Other thoughts are, it's very comfortable to wear. This is great foam on the front and the back. The strap over the top is great. The headphones are pretty good. You've got volume rockers on the left side here. These also pop out to the side, which is really great if you're trying to talk to someone in real life and the game audio is really loud. Some other thoughts when I compare this to something like the Oculus Rift, for example, where the whole system is integrated together. The Oculus software has all of the games on there designed for the Oculus controllers, which has all the button mappings and the thumbsticks and everything just ergonomically designed for it. Unfortunately, with Steam VR, you just have this issue, whether you're using the Vive Pro or the Oculus Rift, is that games don't know what controller you're going to be using with it, so they have to program around the possibility of using different controllers. They might be designed for the Oculus Rift, but then you use a Vive controller in there and the things just don't line up very well. Now, I did also test the Revive software to enable Oculus games on the Vive Pro, and I was able to play Robo Recall, but it didn't feel the same as playing Robo Recall on the Oculus Rift. It just didn't have the same tactile feel because the controllers aren't as well designed on the Vive for the gunplay. At least the angling of the guns just felt off. Felt I was aiming level, but the gun was still pointed down. So I had to like basically counter aim up in the air in order to shoot level, which felt really unintuitive and made it very difficult to aim. Now I'll be releasing another video in the near future about whether or not you should buy the Vive Pro, maybe wait for the PIMAX, or maybe wait for just the next generation of the Vive or the Oculus that's going to go to the next resolution up. I don't know. Like, I'm going to get my thoughts together on that and let you know what I think. Now, I'm also doing a Razer phone giveaway for the month of April. If you'd like to enter that, link down below. That's it for this episode of Gizmo Slip Tech. I'll be bringing you more awesome tech videos in the near future. We'll see you next time. Brandon out.